And the Padres, for Bob Nightengale, don't have a great outlook on what's going to happen. Bob says here, the San Diego Padres' wild spending days are over. Again, this is a prediction from him. They don't offer anyone more than $5 million a year the rest of the winter, trying to spread out the remaining $20 million in their budget to fill about 6 different positions. Their World Series aspirations have melted into the goal of merely qualifying as a wild card contender. Let's dissect this. It was one paragraph that he put here, okay? Wild spending days are over. I think we realize that. And I'm seeing some fans still compare the Padres spending to the Giants and the Dodgers and other teams in baseball. Well, they're spending a bunch of money and the Padres aren't. Well, we're in different spots. Like the Padres have already spent their money on these big free agents. Now, these big free agents have to perform better. The Giants haven't spent their money on big free agents, so they have room to spend on big free agents. The Dodgers have a big TV deal and they have more revenue coming in. The Padres don't have that. So it's different situations. Don't compare the Padres to other teams' spending. You can compare the Padres roster to other teams' roster, like, oh, doesn't look that great. Oh, there's a lot of holes. But I don't think it makes sense to be comparing the Padres' spending to other teams that have a TV deal, other teams that are in just better situations than the Padres are in financially. So Nightengale here saying they don't offer anyone more than $5 million a year the rest of the winter. I think that's a stretch. I think you could see one guy, because what starting pitcher are they going to bring in here to be the 4 starter realistically? Maybe that's going to come via trade then. What's going to come in here, a starting pitcher, for less than $5 million? And you're going to confidently say, yeah, that guy deserves to be in our rotation. I don't see that. Now, outfield wise, I mean, you could say the same thing about the outfield. Like, what guy are you bringing in here for less than $5 million that you're going to confidently say, yeah, that guy is our center fielder. He is great. That guy is our starting left fielder. That is great. We are super excited that we brought in player X on a 1-year deal worth $4 million or 1 year worth $5 million. I just don't see that. The market, it's not going to be as great for guys as we get closer to spring training, I would think. Guys that don't get signed, and that's who the Padres are probably going to end up getting in free agency. But yeah, I mean, not spending more than $5 million on any player, then who are they going to get? Like, all of these acquisitions are probably going to be via trade then, is what I would think. And he says fill out about 6 different positions. So 2 starting pitchers, 2 outfielders, first base DH bat, and then a bench player. Is that what he's referring to? Because I think we're good on the bullpen. And those other spots, we know that the Padres need to make some additions there. This last part, though, I wouldn't worry too much about this. Their World Series aspirations have melted into the goal of merely qualifying as a wild card contender. Does Bob forget that the Arizona Diamondbacks were a wild card team? They just made it to the World Series. Does he forget that the Texas Rangers did not win the division this past year and they won the World Series? Does he forget that the Padres made it to the NLCS in 22? They didn't win their division. The Phillies, they didn't win their division and they made it to the World Series. The Nationals in 2019. Like, there's a lot of examples recently, not just 10 years ago, but recently, especially with these expanded playoffs, that if you get in, you have just as good of an opportunity to go make it to the World Series as other teams, as the 111 win Dodgers in 2022. We saw it for ourselves. So, okay, our goal right now, the Padres' goal right now is to make it into a wild card, let's say, right? But then once they get there, then the goal is to go win the World Series, right? They'll say, our goal is to win the World Series, but there's steps to that. The first step is to get into the postseason. And how do you do that? By at least being a wild card team. And then once you get in, everyone is 0-0. It doesn't matter what you did in the previous 162 games. You did enough to get in. Now go win 11 games, however many games you need to win to go win the whole dang thing. Right? I mean, that's how it is. So, yeah, okay, so the Padres are merely their goal is to qualify as a wild card contender. Okay, so are a lot of other teams. And guess what? The Padres could still go make it to the World Series in 2024. And the Dodgers, they could do it as well with a huge payroll, but they also might flop in the NLDS and lose. Right? So it's about making it there. And then let's say they're a wild card team. You win your first 2 games, you win 2 out of the 3, you win another 3, you win 4, and then you win another 4. That's all that matters. So just get in. But yeah, the Padres, I mean, we know like what Bob is saying here, the wild spending days and all that. Yeah, we know that that is over for this offseason for sure. We'll see what happens later down the road. The CBT is going to increase. But yeah, this offseason, we know like we're not surprised. Padre fans are not surprised by the lack of additions. That's just how it is when you're playing at the not the top of the market, but mid, low part of the market. Those players don't go right out. They don't go sign with teams right out of the gate. They don't sign with teams, all of them, before the big guys sign. No, because there's other teams that are waiting for these big guys to make a decision, and then they're going to pivot to those guys. And those lower free agents are going to want to wait. What if the Dodgers miss out on this guy? What if the Cubs miss out on this guy and they can offer me more money than a team like the Padres can? Or what the Padres at least are offering right now, you know? So that's just how it is. I'm not surprised by what Bob said here. If they only have $20 million of room, then expect some trades. It's not just going to be all free agency.